What if you looked up at the sky and you saw star, 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 and then some strange blurry blob, and then another star, 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 and then another blurry blob? Well, that was the baffling picture of the sky to astronomers around 100 years ago. Back then, people thought our galaxy was the entire universe, just 100,000 light years across. Then, a somewhat troubling clue came. An Indiana farm boy named Vesto Slipher was pointing his telescope up at one of those blobs and found it to be a little bluish. And just from that, he figured out that it was hurtling toward Earth at 250,000 miles per hour. So, what the heck is this blob that's hurtling toward us? And how much time do we have left? We'll get back to that bluish color, but more pressingly, if something's coming at you 250,000 miles per hour, it's probably a good idea to figure out how far away it is. I mean, do we have mere days to live? Should we just spend all day eating Twinkies, party all night, and then try bungee jumping? Who could save the day but one Edwin Hubble? He knew about a special kind of star called a Cepheid. Cepheids pulsate sort of like a heartbeat, and they can beat slow and bright or dim and fast. But when Hubble looked up at the Cepheids in that distant blob, he found the Cepheids were beating slow but dim. And the only way that could happen is if the blob was millions of light years away. And at that time, nobody expected anything to be that far away. The New York Times, even though they referred to Hubble as Hubble, they explained how far away the blob was. This means that light traveling at a rate of 186,000 miles a second has required 1 million years to reach us from these nebulae, and that we are observing them by light which left them in the Pliocene age upon the Earth. But what is that blob? It's too far away to be in the Milky Way galaxy. And with Hubble's pictures, other scientists began to see what he saw. It isn't a nebula, it's not a star cluster. It's a completely new galaxy, the Andromeda Galaxy. And that wasn't the only one. There were more than a dozen of these blobs. And very quickly, the universe went from looking like this to looking like this. Here's where it gets even weirder though. Those other galaxies didn't look like Andromeda. And to get why, we need to understand that blue color that Vesto Slipher was seeing. So stay with me for this part, it'll be worth it. Have you ever been on the street when an ambulance flies by and you hear this weird shift in pitch? The pitch goes higher as it races towards you and then lower as it moves away. That's because the wavelength of the sound first gets squished and then gets stretched out. The same thing happens to light coming off objects moving super fast, but instead of the pitch changing, the light changes color. If something's moving towards you, the light waves coming off of it squish together, making the light bluer or blue shifted. If something's moving away from you, the light waves get stretched out, making the light appear redder or red shifted. When Slipher saw Andromeda in 1912 as that blue shifted spot, he knew that it was hurtling toward Earth. And while that was a huge surprise, gravity pulling things toward each other wasn't anything new. But strangely, when he looked at the other blobs in the sky, he found that they were actually reddish, meaning that they were flying away from Earth at incredible speeds. Now, that was a little harder to explain. Now back to Hubble. He combined that redshift trick to find the speed of the galaxies with the pulsing star trick to find the distances of the galaxies and made an astonishing discovery. The further the galaxy is, the faster it's flying away. So what could that mean? Well, the only conclusion was that the universe wasn't a bunch of stars that were just merely hanging in the sky, but the universe was actually a bunch of galaxies expanding away from each other at an unbelievable rate. And if that wasn't mind-blowing enough, if you could rewind the clock, you'd find that all the pieces of the universe would be squished up until the moment they were all at a single point. That moment, the Big Bang. The next time you're looking up at the stars and they seem to just be sitting there, remember, if you look at the colors, you can actually see hints of the beginning of the universe. And you can actually use that same trick to reveal other secrets of the universe, like exoplanets, dark matter, and dark energy. And if you want to test yourself on how well you can read the universe's clues, take our Colorful Universe quiz.